It's cliche. Jesus.
Hello. This is your boy Shades Dan.
So I'll have like my sister.
Nipsey Hussle, he's not here anymore.
Starting off would be Kobe Bryant. I'd love to discuss the Mamba mentality and like the will to win, and also like talk some games and stuff, you know, find out some stuff about Shaq and stuff like that, you know.
Mr. Darcy. Mr. Darcy is a fictional character from the book Pride and Prejudice. He was dreamy.
Enoch from the Bible. I've always been fascinated by his life and how he lived, and I'd love to sit and talk with him.
God.
Kobe Bryant, Derrick Rose.
Tupac Shakur.
Number 2, Allen Iverson, my favorite player as a kid. The reason why I'm a Denver Nuggets fan today and a Philly fan before. Yeah, I'd love to have a conversation with him about his individuality and like what that means to him.
My second guest would be Queen Jezebel. She is not everybody's cup of tea. However, she did have quite admirable qualities.
King David, be number 2.
The Holy Spirit.
I'll have my sister. I'll have my best friend Tamika.
Scottie Pippen.
Kendrick Lamar. I feel one of the best rappers of our generation. Love to pick his brain, hear his perspective on certain things.
George Washington Carver. Now, he was a scientist from America, a black scientist. He grew up at a time when it was just really difficult, and he's a person who discovered peanut butter.
Michelle Obama.
Queen Esther, who was bold, fearless, courageous, and she saved the whole nation.
I'd actually have Audrey Milena.
Number 4, Maya Angelou, amazing poet, dope voice. Yeah, I'd love to have a conversation with her. Not even a conversation, I'd love to just sit and listen.
Oprah Winfrey. Solange.
Malcolm X.
I would also invite my granddad, who's no longer with us.
Arsene Wenger, Thierry Henry.
King David.
Number 5, Nipsey Hussle, very inspirational guy. Not just from the rapping perspective, but from the business perspective and like the self-belief and betting on yourself. I'd love to have a conversation with him about like the mentality it takes to really be all in on whatever your dream is, whatever your hustle is, no pun intended.
Beyonce.
I would have Drake.
Michael Jackson, you know, a master at his craft. Someone who was so consistent for so many decades.
I want to invite Peter.
Queen Latifah.
Jay-Z.
I would have Issa Rae.
Peter, the realest disciple. He was an ROD. He loved Jesus genuinely.
Beyonce. Don't ask why.
James Avery, aka Uncle Phil. Again, top tier in his field, top tier actor. Would love to have a conversation and pick his brain about the dedication to the craft, because obviously Will Smith has spoken about how dedicated he was to the craft. So I'd love to find out how he got to the level that he was at before obviously he passed away.
My mum, my auntie, family supper.
My next guest is Thierry Henry. On his Twitter page, he has a quote that says, amateurs call it genius and masters call it practice. And I just love that, because I think that sums up him as a person, as a footballer.
Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. She is a magnificent author. She's articulate, she's classy.
I will have Jennifer Lawrence, who I think is brilliant.
Number 7, Jim Henson, the guy who made Sesame Street and The Muppet Show. I'd like to talk to him about staying power and longevity, because a lot of the shows that before he passed, pretty much everything he made just banged.
J. Cole. How can I forget?
Chris Benoit, wrestling.
Maya Angelou.
Martin Luther King.
More because there's just so many questions I need answered.
Renee Brown, who is a G and a very smart woman.
Uncle Tom, who was a fictional character from the book Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Pastor Mike Todd, that just has to do with my journey as a Christian, because obviously he was a big part in making me want to re-pursue God and get back to my faith. So I'd love to sit and have a conversation with him.
Princess Diana, and the People's Princess. I think it would be great to have her there. Her activism, her charity work.
Malcolm X.
Jesus.
Laurent, Arsenal right back. I just feel like his time in the UK, the time he came in as right back, could be interesting for me.
My 8th dinner guest would be Judas. Again, I have questions.
Dave Chappelle, one of my favorite comedians, and I'd like to talk to him specifically about integrity, because obviously there's that whole situation back in the day where he was presented with a big bag and decided to turn it down because part of it was a compromise. To get the bag, he'd have to compromise a moral, like a big moral of his, and I respect the fact that he turned down the bag, so I'd love to have a conversation with him.
Dana Chanel, I don't know if you know who that is. Dana Chanel, she's a social media person.
I will have Ava.
Martin Luther King.
Denzel Washington.
Deborah, the judge. She was amazing.
Ava DuVernay.
Malcolm X, those two for sure.
Number 10, Eddie Guerrero, the pro wrestler, one of my favorite guys as a kid.
The last two people I would invite is my dad.
Steve Jobs, founder of Apple, Pixar.
Ricky Gervais, I need some banter. I do need some banter.
There's a woman called Bim Adewuma, who I look up to very much and I rate her very highly.
TD Jakes.
My 10th guest would be one ancestor, preferably a woman, because I would want to ask her what she wished for her great-great-grandchildren. I'd like to ask her what kind of life that she felt we would be living and find out what she did to make that possible, if she did anything, if she even thought about it.
Winnie Madikizela Mandela, that's Nelson Mandela's second wife. Just what it was like raising their two children during that time when he was in prison, what it was like being on the run, what South Africa was like then, and lessons that we can learn now as we move forward in this world, as we, work towards having more unity, more equality, more diversity.
Rihanna, I'd absolutely have Rihanna.
Number 11, The Rock, similar to Eddie, loved him as a kid as a pro wrestler, and then now as an actor, one of the most accomplished ones out, and his story is very inspiring when you see like the beginnings, like where he came from, so I'd love to have The Rock.
My best friend.
My 11th guest would be my great-great-grandchild, because I'm going to find out what my descendants would look like, be like, behave like, where they would be, what they would be doing in this world.
Arsene Wenger, a man that probably stayed a few years too long at Arsenal, if we're being honest.
Yeah, my mum. I'd have my mum.
And my last, but certainly not least guest, is Onyeka Onwenu. She is a Nigerian musician and an activist. She sang songs in a time where the political climate was dodgy and women were fighting to be heard.
Malik Teal. I didn't say Malik. Did I say Malik? Malik Teal.
And then number 12, because I need to have a fighter in there, naturally. Could have picked a lot, but I'm just going to go with Bruce Lee, because that's the OG. And again, the mindset. Very philosophical. A lot of his quotes still bang to this day. And it's I'd love to pick his brain like everybody else's brain on my list.
If you'd like to be featured in our next video, send us a message or a DM, comment below to say who your 12 would be, and we'll put them in the next one. Thanks, take care.